Vocal Sweetness Amplified Void Silver Stalker. Good day guys, this is Practiphile, and yeah, today we are going to take a look at the EarAcoustics VSA Max. That's a mouthful of letters. I think VSA stands for Vocal Sweetness Amplified, and I don't know where the Void Silver Stalker came from. Anyhow, thank you so much EarAcoustics Audio for sending this in for our review. The VSA Max is currently priced around $149. You can check the links in the description. I think Linsol is selling them, and Pen and Audio. So yeah, the box is pretty similar to the one I reviewed before, the Spa Limited Edition, which was I think $300 to $400. It's pretty expensive for a single DD. Yeah, and so box is the same. You get the same case in here, or a different color case, but similar. You do get an interchangeable termination this time, 3.5 and 4.4 millimeters. The design is also a little bit different. You get like the shiny blingy thing in there. Really good though. Like, I really appreciate what it looks like. And so there are, like on the right piece it says, no, I think on the left it says the Void Silver Stalker. I really don't know why they have that. This is a single DD earphone. It says it is a titanium diaphragm with Tesla magnetic engine. Alright, so but it seems like it has, or I don't know if it's the same driver as the Spa series, or maybe they just changed the filters. The shell though is made of aluminum magnesium alloy shell. So yeah, basically just a single DD. So let's move on now to the most important part of this one here, and that is the sound. So let's look at the frequency response in here. The graph of the VSA Max looks like that one over there. As you can see, it's pretty much V-shaped in tonality, like very old school tuning, you know, like elevated bass, scooped mids, and then elevated upper treble energy for proper resolution. Disclaimer though, EarAcoustics did tell me that this is going to be a little bit brighter than what I had with the Spa, or what they had with the SPA limited version, or the Spa series. And yeah, I can say that this earphone is bright leaning and probably favoring female vocals. The tonality might not be for all, but it's kind of like there's coloration in here. There's elevated bass and elevated upper mids for that vocal sweetness, maybe for female vocals. Not so much with male vocals though. I feel like it's too thin sounding for males. The bass does have good impact in there, but it doesn't really sound that rumbly, maybe because of the overall elevation of the treble. So because, you know, like both of them, whenever you increase or decrease, it actually affects both ends. So that's at least in my experience. Mids are a little bit recessed for my liking. I do wish that it had a little lesser bass and lesser upper mids in there, so that, you know, the mids would sound more natural. So sometimes instruments sound a little bit thinner in their timbre, like the strings are a little bit thinner, brighter, but timbrally probably not that accurate. So for people who like treble, so this might be for you. Well, I appreciate good treble, but probably this one is a little bit too much for my liking. I don't really find it really that peaky. Sometimes, like at the end of the day when I listen to this one here, I don't feel that much peak, but in the mornings, yeah, sometimes this can be too much, because that 8K peak in there, it's not just a coupler peak. I do think that there's some energy going on in there. And, you know, although it doesn't really have a lot of past 10K peak, still there is an elevation. There are elevated energies are elevated in this area here. For the technicalities, I would say it's probably about average. You know, like it has decent stage, maybe a little bit of detail retrieval because of that elevated treble in there. But then again, I'll probably choose a more natural sounding earphone than a technically capable one. So, but depends on you. Moving on to the comparison here, it's $149 and it's a single DD. Probably the first one that I can think of is the NF Audio NA20. I think it's a little bit cheaper, but the graph is actually close right there, as you can see that. Now the NA20 is marketed as a stage monitor, and it's light, it's made of resin or plastic. I feel like the NA20 has better bass impact, but also brighter overall. the EarAcoustics VSA Max does have a better soundstage and separation. Very similar bass in there and kind of like treble emphasis. But all in all, I feel like both actually share that kind of like thinness in the upper mids, but I feel like it's probably more appealing with the VSA Max. Maybe it's because of the shells. So if you prefer metal shells, then maybe the VSA Max is for you. If you prefer light and probably like a better balance overall, maybe the NA20 Plus is for you. The next one is, well, I'm just gonna compare it with the previous EarAcoustics that I reviewed. That is the Spa Silver Limited Edition. You can see right there that the Spa Limited is actually more balanced. As you can see there is no 5 to 6K peak, probably around the same elevation in the bass. So on listening, it does sound, it sounds good. Like the Spa Limited sounds more natural overall. But of course, it's like $300, $400. Like for a single DD, I'm not really sure if I'm going to like recommend the Spa Limited because of the price. I mean, like maybe if it shares the same driver, maybe it's just a difference in filters. So I've never tried putting like a 500 mesh filter on the VSA Max, but probably if you want to tame that down, that can actually just work as good. So for sound, I'd probably prefer the Spa Limited Edition, but again, the price, I can't justify it's hard for me to justify the price on the VSA Max. Interesting though, this kind of tuning, like, it's important to look at the price range because when you look at like $149, it's actually in my, see, 121 to 250 price category. This area here, these are filled with companies that are tuning really good. When I say tuning really good, it's a tuning that is directed to correctness, you know, like they're targeting JM21 Target or collabing with other YouTubers or reviewers. A lot of the IMs here in priced like this are just tuned really good. Like even the Daybreak is around $170, right? So with this kind of tuning, I feel like it's really hard for it to compete because you can see this kind of tuning in like cheaper sets. Like for example, the KB Ear KS1, like that, you know, like it's a $10 set, $15 set. It almost looks like it's a set without filters or something. Or maybe if you want, maybe it's also very close to the Venture Electronics SIE right there. Okay, although the SIE is more directed to bass, but you know what I mean. Like maybe they share the same driver or something, but it does look like it. I did find one that is pretty close, and that is the Hades MS5 right there. I mean, this is a hybrid configuration and priced more expensive. I think it's, I don't know, $399 or something, $499 or something. Yeah, the direction of this kind of tuning is a little bit, how do I say it? I'm not saying it's just backwards. It's like they're countering. Like a lot of companies are going to like a more natural and smoother frequency response, but EarAcoustics seems to be doing the opposite. Recently also, a lot of people know how to regraph, or at least they know what they're looking for. And when you look at the graph of the VSA Max, I'm not sure if you are going to be interested in that. If that makes sense. It's also hard for me to recommend this to a beginning hobbyist because usually if you're a beginner, you have, you know, like people are more sensitive to peaks like 5K peaks or like especially the upper mids, and I don't want them to get disappointed, you know, when listening to this. So it's really important to audition first and know your preferred signature. Maybe the last one for my comparison would be, let's see here, it's actually the Gimlet. It's right there. It's a cheaper one. I'm just showing you that even at cheaper prices, there are earphones that are good sounding and natural sounding as well. As you can see there, the Gimlet, I mean, like the tonality is not really like similar because the Gimlet is more balanced in sound. I'm just putting a point here that like even at a cheaper price range, a lot of single DDs are tuned well. I'm not saying that the VSA Max is tuned bad, it's just that it's really up to you if you're looking for this kind of tonality. Like if you want female vocals, probably you can go for the VSA Max. If you want vocal sweetness amplified. But probably in my case, where I have different kinds of genre in my library, and I shuffle, and there's male vocals and there's metal and then cymbals going on, it's probably a little bit hard for me to listen to this every time because of that energy in there. So yeah, I guess that is it for my review on the VSA Max. Yeah, for 149 bucks, it's I don't know, man, like Void Silver Stalker. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you think my content is useful, consider liking and subscribing, and yeah, have a great day there, and thank you so much for watching.